Hi everyone, I'm Heidi Hanna. I'm the co-chair of the upcoming conference for the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, which is going to be happening in April from the 27th through the 30th in Orlando, Florida. And our theme is all about the purpose and power of play. So I can't imagine anyone better to be interviewing today than Dr. Peter Gray. He is a research professor at Boston College and also the author of several books. His newest book called Free to Learn, which really looks at the importance of play for lifelong learning. And we're going to be talking with him more today about what specifically he's going to be sharing with us at our upcoming conference. So, Dr. Gray, thank you so much for joining me today. And really, all I wanted to do was give people a chance to get excited about what you're going to be sharing with us at the conference. So, if you would just take a couple of minutes to let us know a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm a research professor at Boston College. I'm retired from teaching, but I continue to do research and writing. In recent years, meaning quite a few years, I've been focusing on play, mostly interested in children's play and how children learn through play. I've written a book called Free to Learn, which makes the case that when children are free to play and explore, the ways that they naturally play and explore educate them, that the drive to play and to play in certain ways, the children's natural curiosity, their natural sociability have all been honed by natural selection, really to serve the function of education. And if we provide the kinds of spaces for children to play, the kinds of environments in which the values of the culture are present and so on, and children can play in those settings, they become educated. Well, to pursue this, so to kind of work towards the topic that I'll be talking about at the conference, to pursue this issue, this interest, a number of years ago, I got interested in how children in hunter-gatherer cultures become educated, because I'm an evolutionary psychologist, among other things. I'm interested in how our human nature came about by natural selection. And of course, during most of our existence as Homo sapiens, we were hunter-gatherers. And there are some groups of hunter-gatherers that have managed to survive into modern times and have been studied by anthropologists. And so, along with a graduate student, I identified a number of these anthropologists, 10 of them, who had lived in 7 different hunter-gatherer cultures, and surveyed them about children's learning in those cultures. And then I began to read everything I could about life in such cultures, and I got interested not just in the lives of children in such cultures, but in the cultures themselves. And everything I found about children fit very much with this idea that children are designed to educate themselves, because in these cultures, children play and explore all day long, from morning to dusk. Every anthropologist told me nobody expects any serious work from them. These are teenagers as well as younger kids, that they believe that this is how children educate themselves. So that's part of the work that's gone into my book on how children learn. But the thing that I'm going to talk about at the conference is a little different from that, related to it. But what I discovered in this work is that hunter-gatherer cultures are extraordinarily playful. Hunter-gatherers are very anthropologists after anthropologists, they don't necessarily always use the term play. And one of them told me that part of the reason that they don't use the term play is that among some people, play sort of has a pejorative connotation, as if it's childish, right? And so to say they're playful is to say they're childish. But what impressed me is how they use play really to get along with one another. I mean, hunter-gatherer cultures, more so than any other groups of people, have got to cooperate. Their whole way of life in hunter-gatherer bands depends upon cooperation with one another. And this means that they have to suppress the tendency to try to dominate one another, especially the male tendency to try to do this. All sorts of male mammals engage in these dominance hierarchies behaviors.
Yeah.
Well, it began to occur to me that what hunter-gatherers are quite deliberately doing is using play and humor as the way of combating this tendency to want to dominate. Because, as I explain in some of my writings, among all mammals, there's one kind of activity in which you absolutely have to set any tendency to dominate aside, and that's play. The reason for that is play is always voluntary. So whether it's two dogs playing with one another, or two monkeys playing with one another, or two children playing with one another, or two adult humans playing with one another, any tendency on one to dominate, to bully the other one, is going to lead the other one to quit, to just leave. I'm not going to play with you if you're going to be that way to me, right?
Right.
So this is an activity in which you've got to overcome. If you're the dominant individual, you've got to set aside that tendency to want to dominate. And if you're this more submissive one in the dominance hierarchy, the less dominant one in the dominance hierarchy, you've got to believe that this person is not going to try to dominate. So all animals have signals that indicate, for this period of play, we are not dominating. And in fact, the human laugh evolved out of that kind of a signal among other primates. It looks very much like a human laugh.
Yeah.
So my the theory that I developed is that by acquiring these ways of infusing play and humor into essentially everything that they do, their hunting, their gathering, their religions are very playful. Our modern, our monotheistic religions are kind of hierarchical and they're pretty grim. I mean, really. But their religions, the gods are all kind of equal to one another, and they don't really make these serious judgments about human beings. And they're kind of, they make mistakes, and in their religions they make the hunter-gatherers make a lot of fun of the gods. The gods are sort of fools in some ways, just as human beings are fools in some ways. So it's a very different outlook towards the cosmos. They don't have this sort of serious view of what life is all about. And I think that by virtue of holding that view, they're kind of always, it's as if life in some sense is always play. We're playing out life. And that means that we're always setting this tendency to dominate aside. We're all involved in this game here. So that's kind of a hint as thesis that I'll be talking about. And, wouldn't it be nice if we could inject some of that into our modern ways of living?
Well, one of the ways that I get to play is interviewing amazing people like yourself. And this was fun for me, and I hope that it will be enjoyable for everybody that gets a chance to watch. I do want to just share again that Dr. Gray will be with us at the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor Conference, which is happening April 27th through the 30th in Orlando. And our theme is the power and purpose of play. So we'll be talking more about that. And thank you again so much for speaking with us at the conference, as well as speaking with me today. I actually can tell you honestly that I will have a better day, and it will be a heck of a lot more fun after hearing everything that you shared with me. So thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been fun.
Good.